To know how I got this look, keep on watching. First up, ignore my tired face. I'm really going through a bad skin. So first up, I start off with my Clinique-Pep Hydroblur Moisturiser. It really fills up my pores and kind of blurs the imperfections. So I really like it to use before my makeup. Then I head on to primer. For that, I will be using my Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser. It really helps with minimizing the pores and fine line. So I'm gonna make sure I use it under my eye as well, just to get rid of all the lines, especially because it creases a lot after you put concealer over there. Then I'm also gonna push it in the pores using my beauty blender. Next up, I'm going to tape the under eyes because the eyeshadow palette that I'm going to use has a lot of fallout and kickback, so I don't want the things to get really messy. So I'm just putting these tapes to get that perfect, really sharp eyeshadow look going on. Then I'm going to use my Instant Age Rewind Concealer by Maybelline, and I'm going to use it as a primer all over my eyelid because they are pretty pigmented and they have veins. To blend it out, I'm going to use my PAC Cosmetic 2D Beauty Blender. I love this so much. To set the concealer, I'll use Nykaa Skin Genius Compact in the shade Natural Ivory. Then I'm going to move on to NYX Perfect Filter Palette in Rustic Antique, and using this white shade, I'm going to completely transform my eyelid into a canvas, and I'm going to start off with the transition mixing these two shades from the palette. They are pretty much neutral and they will just add a little bit of warmth to the crease. Then I'm going to move on to this next shade, just slightly darker than this transition shade. It's going to add all the more definition to the crease, and I also love that gradient effect that this color is going to give to the entire look. Then I'm going to move on to this really orange and sort of like a bright shade in the palette. I really have learned this from Kylie Jenner to use like this orange and maroon and all these sort of colors in the crease, and I'm going to concentrate it only on the outer corner just to add all the attention, or let's just say smoke it out a bit. I'm going to take my time to blend things out because it's the most important part of any look. Then I'm going to take this really dark brown rustic sort of color, and I'm going to concentrate it only on the outer V portion because that's where I want the entire darkness to be there, because I'm going to I'm sort of aiming for an halo eye effect. I'm also going to put this color in the spatting motions rather than swiping. I just want it to concentrate on the crease or the outer corner. Then I'm also going to pat it on the inner corner, just like to give that depth to the inner and the outer corner, sort of to balance it out. I'm going to pat it multiple times to get the intensity that I'm looking for, so that the contrast between the middle bright shade and this dark shade is really evident. I'm just going to use this fluffy brush again to just blend everything out so that it's seamless and the gradient is really visible. I just added a little bit of more of the dark color on the crease. Then I'm going to use the same concealer and I'm going to cancel out any shade in the between, and I'm going to move on to the Kiss Me Infallible Pencil by L'Oreal in gold. I'm going to use this as a base for my powder eyeshadow from the palette, which I'm going to use afterwards. First step, I'm just going to place it, and using a detailed brush, I'm going to blend it ever so slightly. Once that's in place, I'm going to use this golden foil shadow from the palette just to put it all over that center part. This will really make the eyes pop and give it that halo effect that I'm aiming for. I'm going to again take my time to blend it out because, as I told you guys, it's really important. Once I had the golden in place, I sort of added more brown because I wanted that contrast to be really evident and prominent. I'm quickly going to clean under my brow bone so that I can just put a little bit of concealer and set it to, make it look really clean and sharp. For that, I'm going to use this Elegwell Pro Concealer in the shade Pure Beige. It's similar to my actual skin tone. I'm then going to set it using the same Nykaa Skin Genius Natural Ivory powder that I used on my eyelids. This will really give that sort of a faded and smoked out effect. I'm then going to use that fluffy brush to put in that transition shade again so that it's all smooth and blended, and then I'm going to get rid of the tape. I absolutely love how this eyeshadow look turned out to be. Next up, I'm going to move on to the eyelashes. For that, I'll be using these Miss Claire 144 and Duo Eyelash Adhesive. It's sort of white but then it dries transparent, so it's pretty good. And there are my pretty lashes. I absolutely love them. Then I'm going to move on to the actual face. For that, first up I'm going to color correct using this MAC Studio Finish Skin Corrector in Pure Orange. It's very orangey and peachy, so it will help me get rid of any bluish or purplish dark circles that I have going on. Trust me you guys, I don't get enough sleep. I'm then going to blend it out using my beauty blender, and then I'm going to move on to actually conceal them. So for that, I'll be using this MAC Studio Conceal and Correct palette in the shade medium. I'll be using this darker color because it has peachish and orange skin tones, so it will really cancel out the darkness. It won't really highlight, but it will completely conceal the dark circles, and that's what I want my concealer to do. Next up, I'll be using that Instant Age Rewind concealer by Maybelline, and I'm going to put it through the center of my face just to bring it forward, because I pretty much like the features in the center of my face to be really forward and highlighted. So this is sort of a lighter concealer, so it will really highlight and just accentuate the features which are in the center of my face. So I'm also going to put it on my upper lips and around my mouth because I have somewhat of pigmentation going on those areas. I'm going to take my time to put it on, and I'm making sure I put a very thin layer of it. I'm going to let it stay for 2 minutes, and then I'm going to slightly pat it down using my beauty blender. The trick is to let the concealer dry down slightly so that it doesn't move or budges when you're blending it out, and it's pretty much it stays for long time. Once the concealer is blended and everything is smoothed out, the things start looking good. I'm going to move on to my foundation. So for my foundation today, I'll be using this PAC HD Studio Liquid Foundation in this shade 3.7. It's the perfect match for my skin tone. I'm going to bounce it all over my face using the beauty blender. I'm going to take my time to blend it out. Make sure you get your ears and your forehead and also your neck, because you don't want any patches of foundation missing from specific areas. Next up, I'm going to set the concealer quickly because that's where the maximum creasing happens. I have a lot of fine lines under my eyes, so I make sure I set it all down. I'm also going to set my entire face except the areas I'm going to contour. Next up, I'm going to cream contour using the Skrylin Supra Color Palette using the 2 darkest shade. I'm just going to use my finger to draw a line and then blend it out using my beauty blender. I absolutely love this trick because cream contour is just so stark and prominent. I love the effect that it gives. Once everything is in place, I'm going to blend it all in and then set the cream contour using a powder contour. But before that, I'm going to quickly cream contour my jawline as well because I want to get rid of that little bit of a double chin situation going on over there. And I'm also going to blend it all down my neck. So to set my contour, I will be using this LA Girl Pro HD Face Press Powder in the shade Cocoa. It's basically a compact but in a really dark shade which I use to set down my contour, and the trick really works for me. You can try it too. Next up, I'm going to use my beauty blender to make sure everything is really blended and seamless and there are no harsh lines. Going back into that eyeshadow palette using that maroon shade, I'm going to smoke out my lower lash line because I want to balance out things and I want to give that cranberry effect because that was the main the focus of this look. Then I'm going to use this Faces Magnetized Kajal in black. I'm going to put it in my lower waterline and then I'm going to smudge it using this pencil brush so that even my lower lash line is just as gradient as the upper lid, and everything is really smoked out and has the enough drama going on. I'm also gonna slightly fill my eyebrows using this Calabar eyebrow pencil in the shade Chestnut. I'm not doing much with my brows because they're not really done and they're pretty much unclean, so I'm leaving them like that, messy and slightly undone, and I'm just giving them a little bit of definition. I'm gonna quickly highlight my brow bone using that PAC HD highlighter, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of blush by L'Oreal Infallible. It's somewhat of a peachish undertone. God, I love this highlighter. Oh my god, just look at the way it pops. I'm also gonna blend it in the brow bone so that it all looks connected and joined. I'm also making this exclamation sort of a mark on my nose because it really brings out my features. Next up, I'm gonna align my lips using this Chambord Velvet lip liner, and I'm gonna fill my lips using this lip liner as well. Once the lip liner is in place, I'm also gonna use this lipstick by PAC. I love this color. It's the perfect nude for every day, if you're going for like a dramatic eyes. This is the kind of nude you want to go for. Also, I think it's the correct kind of a nude lipstick that you should go for, the kind of eye look that I have done, which is really cranberry and warm. So also this lipstick is peachish and has warm undertone, so it's all coming out to be very perfect. Next up, I'm going to use this Color Sense mascara in black. I love the wand because it helps me get those lower lash line lashes which are really hard to get otherwise. So this, you guys, is the finished look. I hope you enjoyed it and liked it. I had fun creating this for you all. Make sure before you leave you subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.